If you can distinguish between the City of Edmonton, which is actually properly called the Corporation of the City of Edmonton, and Edmonton City, you can distinguish between the legal entity, which is where all the bylaws are, because if you look up definition of bylaw, you know what it says? Rule of a corporation. So why are these corporations imposing these rules upon you if you let them know, I'm not even, oh yeah, I'm walking down the street in Vancouver City, but that doesn't mean I'm a person in the corporation of the City of Vancouver. We went in, I've got a little vest with a hidden video camera on it. We went in and we served notice on the Chief Licensing Officer or Chief Bylaw Enforcement Officer in the corporation of the City of Vancouver. And when I say served notice, I mean we served a notice. Oh yeah, we walked right up. Hey, we got a notice for you just to make sure you can see it. And here's a jar of olives. God's peace to you. Okay, no, we see it. Thank you. Said, okay, so we're planning on opening up a little place. We're going to call it Shepherd's Haven. We're going to sell beer, wine, and what's that other thing? Oh yeah, pot. You don't have a problem with that? No, we have no problem, Mr. Menard. You don't need to talk to us anymore. Thank you very much. Fine. If you distinguish between driving and traveling, a driver is someone who is engaging in commerce on the highway and is paying for it. They'll point to the driver's seat and a passenger seat. What if you're just traveling and your passenger is actually a guest? If you can distinguish between driver, guest, passenger, and owner, that's when you start finding your freedom there as well. I'm not a driver, I'm not engaging in commerce, and I'm not asking you for a license. If you distinguish between an enforcement officer and a peace officer's duty is to keep the peace. An enforcement officer's duty is to enforce either court orders or ensure statutory compliance. They are breaching, their primary role is the peace officer. And they are actually breaching their duty to the peace if they try to act as an enforcement officer without actually having evidence of person status. Hold them to that. Distinguish between those. If you can distinguish between de facto and de jure. De facto means, okay, we're there but we're fraudulent. We're fulfilling these duties just because no one else is. But it's actually fraudulent. De jure means it's done under law. It's a proper lawful court. Ask the courts. You know what they hate? Is this a de facto court? You're actually asking them, is this a fraudulent court? And it is a de facto court, and they have to answer it. Person and human being, and the owner and a limited access user. Now it boils down another question that they hate. Whose courts are these? They'll try telling you, oh, these courts are yours. Really? Do I have full and complete access? Ownership is determined by access. An owner to property has full, unconditional access to their property. If you only have limited access to that property, you cannot claim to be an owner. You don't have full and complete access to any of these courts because you do not have a right to create the acts that are being used. You don't have the power to file documents, and you are barred from earning a gain or a fee or a reward from acting as an agent for anyone in court. Now, if this is the case, and there's another party that does have fuller access to the courts, who do they belong to? What if these courts are just private courts for the Law Society that you are making use of because they get you into their little deception? They've created a box for themselves, said this is the law for us, but we assume that it's the law for everyone. Any questions? Yep.
Which one?
Whoever. If you abandon that corporation, it's the corporation that's liable, not you, or the legal fiction.
And that's the required stuff that happens over and over.
No, the notice of understanding and intent and a claim of right is what you will be doing over and over, essentially. And
you want to abandon the corporation. You want to deregister your car.
that's what I suggest. Some people would say, well, you know, I want to keep this. There's some benefits involved. And my question I would ask then is, when have you ever in your life benefited from a deception that was imposed upon you? If what they're selling is such a good thing, why do they have to use so much deception?
Because my understanding before I came to this meeting or anything, I agreed with what you said.
So you're a newbie. You're virgin.
I got an understanding that there's a free way to act in my world, and it just came to me that in fact free to drive a car in my country.
Distinguish between drive and travel. You are free to travel, but you shouldn't be free to drive, because that means you're going to use public resources to earn a living and to generate a profit. So if you distinguish between drive and travel, if you're just saying, I want to go from point A to point B and I'm not earning any money by carrying a passenger, I'm not carrying any cargo for someone else, you're traveling, and you do have every right in the world to do that, and it's made available to you if you claim, if you serve a notice of understanding and intent and claim your right to do it.
Because it strikes me that all the laws, etc.
Statutes, you mean?
I don't know. All the things that are there that we think are laws, etc. I came to the conclusion that in fact it was the reverse. It was there to protect my right to live a full life, a free life.
These are the rules of government agents. These are the rules that exist so that we can have a measure of control over the government. They've hooped us into getting a social insurance number, so now we're all part of the government. We're all bound by these rules, but we can step away at any time. And when we do, we're free of these rules. They're still bound by them.
Because I want to buy houses and invest in real estate, etc. And I came to appreciate that in fact wasn't that system there to enable me to do that in a simple, easy, secure way, if you will. So then when I go to buy a property, they say, what's your social insurance number, and on and on and on and on.
You tell them you don't have one. And if you sense that, oh, they're going to want this, they're going to want that, all you have to do is see that this is a potential for conflict, and you take care of that by creating and signing a notice of understanding and intent. Put them on notice. Claim your right. Watch what happens.
Because the lenders, of course, never have to enter into they don't have to lend me money if I don't satisfy.
That's a whole different story. You've got, my friend, there's a whole lot you should learn before you go buying property like that, because chances are you can just discharge it anyways.
I have a birth certificate that's done properly. Rural, then the address, it's a capital letters, and then shaded in.